had a I had a deep, deep upload, download, whatever you want to call it, man. Divine just I don't know, during this retrograde and new the moon cycles that's going on right now and things of that nature, especially what's going on with the planet right now, right? So I'm going through some deep. When I say deep, I'm talking about deep shadow work, y'all. Like deep shadow work to the point where, I got a little shadow journey book and all that. You know what I'm saying? So I had a down upload and I sort of got a gift of automatic writing when I get uploads like this. So I wrote it down far as the shadow work and the trauma. Well, the shadow work I'm doing now, but the trauma I went through to get to do the shadow work now, which is coming out now. You know what I'm saying? So today's date, all that don't even matter, but it's 5/25/22, right? And it do matter in a way because this is why I say this specific shadow work is coming out because it's releasing time for me and all my shadow work is coming to the forefront, right? So let me just start off and say, when I was a kid, right? Uh, when I was a kid, right, I went through some real trauma that affected me mentally and emotionally as I grew up, as I was growing up. However, I didn't notice it until after I went through, what I went through, like everybody else go through extremes and, pressure in life, right? So as I was going through these things, right? Well, let me back it up. Back it up, right? When I was a kid, right, I was considered what you would call slow, which it really wasn't that, but let me explain. I was considered what you call slow, in LD classes or whatever, right? So I didn't learn as fast as the other children, right? So I used to get a report that I used to have with my teachers and my mom and my stepdad, right? So in these reports that I used to have to take home every day, as well as with my homework, right? And it was basically a little note of what was my progress today in the classroom, whether that was paying attention or doing my work correctly or just acting out, right? So every day my teacher used to write poor, good, like poor, good behavior, poor or good behavior, right? As far as on the little slip on that was on my book, right? Poor or good behavior. She used to write that every day. And most of the time I used to get poor behavior, right? So every time I came home with poor behavior, but I also came home with homework too, right? I used to get my ass whooped. I'm talking about extremely like every time, every day. Like, and the crazy part is, it wasn't my fault that I wasn't learning as fast as the other children's. I was different from the rip anyway. I came to this plane a star seed. I didn't even know it at the time, right? And those who know. I'm gonna put that 555 on that. You know what I'm saying? Change is here right now, though, for us all. But I'm saying this to say this, right? I was a star seed, so which meaning as I, even though my memories was wiped, I still had memories of past lives and being from home, which is the ninth galaxy and Sirius star system and all that, right? So I had memories of that still in my mind as a kid. Like this glimpse is not real. Like I couldn't. It was just glimpses, right? So all the time when I used to be in class, I used to daydream all the time. Like I didn't know why I daydreamed so much. And when I used to daydream, I used to go to these, I don't, I'm gonna just say angelic realms, right? I used to go to major angelic realms that I didn't even know was angelic realms at the time. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a kid, I was just having fun and just being in other dimensions and not even knowing that I was in another dimension, right? But in person, in class. So This is why I never used to get my work done or really paid attention to work. But later on, growing up, knowing that that shit was bullshit anyway, and that's why I didn't want to pay attention to the shit. That's why I had a learning, what they would call it, a learning disability, right? Bullshit. It's just that my soul already knew what I came down here to do, and it wasn't to learn that bullshit, right? So now that I know this, but I noticed this after I grew up, right? But I always knew that too. I just didn't know how to put it into words when I was younger. Of course, my intellect wasn't there yet, of course, right? So now as I'm growing up, I'm going through life, I'm getting through relationships of that nature, right? It fucked with my mental on a stage of what I can do and still feeling accepted with them, not from really other people, but within myself, because that taught me that, all right, when I'm going through life and I'm doing something, whether it's work or any responsibility, right? I gotta make sure I'm putting my best or something like that. I gotta make sure I'm putting my best, right? Or I'm going to feel like a failure. So what I did was I never really put my best in a lot. I ain't gonna say that. I put my best in a lot, especially a lot of jobs that I worked at, right? It really wasn't worth my time, my energy, and none of that. But I still put my best in because I'm having the mentality of growing up in the matrix, right? And working a 9 to 5 and doing them things, right? Having a girl and all that, right? So I never knew that it was fucking with my mind on a mental and deep level because basically knocking my self esteem down to a level where as though he's never gonna go and be the entrepreneur or be the builder that he's supposed to be in his true purpose anyway, because he's gonna work for us. He got the mindset of work for us, build for us. You know what I'm saying? Mentality. I definitely had that, right? But now that I'm all grown up and all that, right, and I had my spiritual awakening and all that, and I'm learning more, and I'm definitely learning more shadow work and how to write these things down, and you know get these traumas out of me and all that. My voice is cracking because this is real talk, now. This is real talk. Also, I had a bad stuttering problem when I was little, but I now know that that also came from not understanding this language. I was definitely, when I came here, oh man, I really entered a brand new life, but I'm an old soul though. My soul always knew, my soul always know. You know what I'm saying? But just a new body. So have to adapt to this nature and this life and this matrix that I grew up in, right? I I still spoke other languages and that's why I stuttered there a lot. But I never noticed that until I grew up. Like, cause I had a real bad stuttering problem. Like I really couldn't speak this English language, right? So it was just, and it also took a toll. But back to the trauma though. The trauma also took a toll not only on my mental stability, but far as knocking down my confidence and I just developed all these self-defeating behaviors, right? So far as not moving forward on my path, my journey, right? So another thing that I developed was emotional instability, right? So when I say emotional instability, oh, being emotionally codependent on people outside of you, and this could be anybody: your mom, your dad, your friends, your soulmates, your twins, whatever, whoever it is. I developed that too, like, and that took a toll on me because I used to, cherish what you supposed to. I used to cherish and run for every time I was in a relationship. I just used to try to keep the relationship, no matter how bad it got, no matter how just offbeat it got, just off balance it got, right? I used to try to keep it because I was so emotionally codependent on somebody else to take care of me emotionally, be there for me emotionally, be there for me mentally. It really wasn't the physical part because I'm capable and I'm able to go work and do whatever I wanted to do. And I was always able to do that, right? I always had that ability, right? Right. So it was always a mental and emotional thing for me. So I got caught up in that, and now I'm out of that cycle. Now I can see what I was doing, and the emotional instability and unstableness and the non-balance and all that, right? So it was just like, damn, doing this shadow work really teaching me a lot about myself, that of traits and traumas that I had built deep down in me that I had no idea that I was even still carrying around. You hear me? I had no idea I was still carrying that work around in me. Like, I really didn't. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, but part two is shadow work coming up, man. Oh man, and I gotta apologize to y'all because I'm definitely not, being persistent as far as on my YouTube videos. I apologize though. It's just that I'm going through so much inner work and healing, and going deep in my shadow work right now, and been going deep on my shadow work for like the last past year or two. Okay. For real, for real. But now I'm learning how to, and Divine is teaching me how to pit my shadow work into words now. And now I can really get on my path and really start making my videos like how I really want to now. And that also, with that emotional instability and that mental instability, not having that at such a young age, it really took me away from my real childhood dream too, though. But also, there's another part to that too. However, since the age of 4, I always wanted to be an actor, right? But I never really went for that dream because my confidence was so low, so low. I mean, so low. Like now, I could even, you know, think about it and start taking acting classes and start going to auditions. I could think about that stuff now. Before I couldn't even think about it. Please get it out the building. You hear me? But it's still never part of that though, because everybody knows what's going on in Hollywood. If you woke, if you're enlightened, if you're woke, everybody knows what's going on in Hollywood. Everybody been to what's going on in Hollywood, right? I also don't want to be no type of parts in that. So I know that's what that that type of feel is what comes with that. You know what I'm saying? That action, that talent, that skill. So I also don't want to indulge in that any way, shape, form, and fashion, to be honest. So that kind of cut that dream out for me a lot with just knowing that factor. But you never know what Divine got planned for me. I might just be a light worker in the dark. I might just still have to go through that path and just shine my light in the dark, you know? But I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Part two. All growth, all growth. I'm so proud of me though.